Welcome back to Geeks Are Sexy. Thank you so much for joining us. Jen Zen, my co-host here today.
I'm still here hanging in, girl.
Still here.
Hanging
in there. And we actually have some fabulous guests that kind of related to the show. You know, we're talking about never too hungover, and we're talking about drinking and partying and stuff like that. Now, picture this. You come to Vegas, you planned it for months, or you're here on business, and you have all these things you got to do. You have a very strict agenda that you have to go by. Now, what happens if you find that you get a cold, or that you pull a muscle in your back, or you're just out of commission and something's going on and you need some help, like a medical doctor, pronto? You're not going to go to an urgent care and call an Uber and get out of your way and go all the way down there and
Valid
stuff.
point.
You want something to come to your room, like, what's on the room service, people? I don't care how much it's going to cost, right?
I agree. I think
Sometimes
there's a need for this in this town.
You don't want to leave your hotel room.
You're right.
Seriously.
Or you can't.
So that's why when I was reading the Sunday magazine at Vicky's Diner, I came across an article that was awesome. I had to talk about it, and it was about a 24-hour service where they send doctors to your room. So, better yet is I got a hold of the owner of the Resort Serge. Did I say that right? MD. So, Tyra Bell Holland, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How awesome is it that we have a female entrepreneur that has this great company? We like to help women and uplift them in the community, talking about all this business stuff we get to geek out on in every week.
Every week,
Yeah,
every Friday.
love it. And so we have Dr. George in the house. The doctor has come to hang out with us.
Thanks
Welcome.
for having us on. Appreciate it.
Constantine George, that is.
Constantine. I love the name Constantine. It's very regal. It's a regal
It's very
sound.
Greek. Love it. So, Tyra, tell me how you came about Resort Serge MD.
Well, I started hospitality back in 1998 at the Bellagio, the wonderful Bellagio. I opened that resort, and way back when, we needed doctors, and most of the community. It was hard to find a doctor to come to the room. You worked at these 5-star, 5-diamond resorts, and these guests expected that type of service, and it really didn't exist.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And so as I evolved through my career, I went to the Venetian and the Palazzo, and I was an executive director there for 8 years. And once again, guests, you're operating little cities.
Right.
And in little cities, people get sick. So to pretend it doesn't happen, I felt was creating a liability, if you will. So instead of creating a liability, we wanted to embrace working with amazing doctors that we could trust, that were bonded, that were vetted, and put them in the best of care. So
I love that. What a great idea. Because it really is true. I mean, when you're taking care of an entire a hotel, I mean, these are thousands and thousands and thousands of guests. Some of them are on business, some are for pleasure, some of them have a wedding and have huge expectations, and some of them have kids, and so every single guest, as you will, has a different agenda, and something happens. And that is amazing that there would be no kind of 5-star medical service that you could provide them with if something like this was to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think what made us, what we've done now to make it unique is you mentioned the type of tourist that may need a doctor, and most of the house call physicians at the time were only for adults. So what we did differently is Dr. Constantine George is a double board certified physician, both in internal medicine and pediatrics.
Oh, awesome.
So we took it to a whole new level that doesn't exist, because we are a house call group that is dedicated to all the concierge on the Strip and all the luxury resorts, to be an asset, to be an extension of this amazing world-class city, and to deliver those services and really be an ally to those guests. We've escorted them. Oftentimes it requires a little more than a house call visit, and it results in an emergency room visit. And we coordinate that from beginning to end, and it doesn't exist anywhere else.
It's interesting because in Vegas now you really do see more families coming to vacation, right? As opposed to maybe even 10 or 15 years ago.
And you got to think, some families may travel 10, 15, even 24 hours to be on a plane to get to Vegas.
Exactly.
And when they get there, and who knows what happens, time zones, and then getting into the crazy booking and checking in and all the things that happen, and then even just eating out at a restaurant. It can be challenging. Before you know it, something happens, and then you're stuck in a hotel room. But I want to get some of the actual prime examples of how it can help business, having a medical doctor be on call 24/7. If you're at an expo or convention and you got to make the sales, how can something like this help in a business aspect, Dr. George, if you have someone that you're treating and you can actually help them in a way to benefit their job to be as successful as they need it to be?
You do. We've had numerous examples over the past year that we've launched the company. We had, as an example, about 2 weeks ago, less than that, we had a couple of conventions with Amazon here in town and over at the Venetian Hotel. We had one of the clients, and they were missing part of the convention because they were ill. Contacted our company. We were there within the hours, promised and guaranteed, took care of the client. We were able to deliver prescriptions to their hotel room, coordinate their care, and the client was back up on the floor of the convention center within 2 or 3 hours.
Wow.
Didn't really get to miss a lot of his convention, got to partake, and he was actually one of the main speakers that evening as well. And so that's the benefit of having us around. It's quick, whereas if you go to the emergency room or urgent care, you can be sitting in the lobby for 3 to 4 hours, and by then you've lost business. And all of our clients, the intent is if they're here on business, we get them back and running on their feet as quickly as possible so they can get back to their routines. At the end of the day, we want them back in our casinos and helping support our city, gambling, spending money at the shows, the restaurants.
And simple
that's what
things.
it's all about.
Simple things I was thinking, like allergies could kick up, or vertigo from flying too much.
You know, I have a personal story about
you
this.
know.
I have a girlfriend that came here to town for a convention, and she had a kidney infection.
See?
And she knew what she had because she was prone to getting them, and all she needed was Cipro. So she knew I just have to get some Cipro, but I'm not in my home state. I don't have my doctor, my primary care. You can phone in a prescription.
Such a
so she had to go to
nightmare.
the emergency room for $1,000
Right.
and wait for 3 hours to get Cipro. And she's like, oh, God, could
What
there
a
be some?
nightmare.
And I wish I would have known you.
I know,
I
right?
wish I had to. Well, interestingly
true.
enough about or enough in regards to that is that I'm glad you brought it up, because sometimes these guests, it doesn't necessarily require a house call visit.
Right,
So
right.
there are times, based on the discussion of the doctor, of course, and what the symptoms are, we can simply call in a prescription.
I like that.
could have been one of those.
Right.
And we
Made it
save them
easy.
a lot of money. We work closely with the pharmacies. We deliver 24/7.
That is so comforting,
amazing.
because when you can stay in your hotel room, take a hot shower, take a bath, you need to have your time to relax. You do
Right.
not want to be around other people. I mean, all that stress and being in unfamiliar places,
Sure.
all you want to do is really like, can I just go home, please?
And that's a good
So,
thing about our
you know.
company. We coordinate everything. So from the time we get the phone call, the patient's in the comfort of their hotel room.
I love that.
We coordinate everything with the concierges, the valets, with Tyra and myself, with the pharmacies.
Wow.
And we do very good follow-up with the client. They get multiple phone calls. We see them. We call within an hour or two, make sure your prescription's delivered. Did you take them? Do you feel better? We do follow-up phone calls on a daily basis.
Wow.
That's great.
Follow up
That's
with
great.
them when they get back to their destination city where they were from originally, and make sure they have adequate follow-up with their primary care, with their specialist, whoever it may be. So there's follow-through from start to finish. You're hand-holding them, but that's what they need. They feel more comfortable being in a city that they're not from. And they're not really
There are
familiar with their
millions of people.
surroundings.
Sorry to interrupt. I
No,
always
go
do
ahead.
that. But millions of people travel to
Right.
Vegas every single year. So
Right.
you guys are quite busy all the time, I'm sure. And be it that it's 24/7, call them anytime. That's even better.
It's kind of a little bit better than my own doctor.
I know. I was going to say, do you do health calls?
I live here.
Yeah.
But
So where can people go get more information, contact you, find you online?
Definitely www.resortciergemd.com 24/7.
Awesome. So resortcierge.com, check them out. So awesome that you guys can come on Geeks Are Sexy. Got to say, I love the geek glasses, Tyra. They look good on you. And you got to come back and talk about Ava Rose Agency and all the other entrepreneurial stuff that you do. Because I'm telling you what, when you find a woman in Vegas that is like serious in her business,
Right.
it is so great to like get together with
connect.
that
You
and
gotta
connect and like, talk about it. So high five to you, girl.
Aw.
And high five to Dr. George.
Hey, Dr.
Yes,
George, yay.
yes. All right, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. Don't forget, Geeks Are Sexy is live every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. right here on WCOBM.com. Jen,
yes, ma'am.
let's go back to Vamped and take our Never Too Hungover drink with us. Yay! Resort Cierge and Never Too Hungover. That's right. Okay. Bye, guys.